My name is Christina. I've been living in London and I love the city. You can do pretty much anything here, and most of all, the best is shopping. Until recently, I spent a lot of time in the best stores of London, and I understand the principles, the rules of contemporary fashion. Beside the boutiques of shoes, clothes and accessories, I've never passed the gallery that sells contemporary art. And here, I really don't understand, how do they come up with the prices for a particular product? Who sets the tendencies? Who sells? And how to figure out in variety of shapes, colors, ideas, what is the real art? It's fascinating. What won't fall in value and be an investment? So, my dear friends, one day I decided to go on a quest to look for the truth. In London, something happens, never mind daily, hourly. More art gets created. Let's find out who sets the trend, how come these rocket sky prices appear, and who pays it. So, why don't you happen up with me and let's go to find out. I've decided to start with my lovely friend Olga. She's a talented artist and successful exhibitions organizer, as for herself and the others. Currently, Olga opens Atro's company, which will deal with promotion of the new talents on the British art market. So Olga, how do you value yourself? How do you put a price on your paintings? What depends on what? The size, the client, the work, the hours, location? Could you tell me more about that, please?
Prices, it's, if you're talking business, so galleries, they know about your history. So if you're new in the market, we're talking about business. If you're new artists, they are not going to put big price for you. So you have to be famous to have enormous prices, yes. And as a quality work, if it's on canvas, it's more expensive than on paper. If it's oil, it's more expensive than acrylic. Sizes matter as well, and the popularity, the fame of the artist, of course.
So PR is quite important.
Yes, I have a very cool joke about PR. The rat asking the hamster, please tell me why human loves you more than me, because they even put you, take you in their hands, and they feed you with the sweets. They put the wheel in your cage, and nothing happened to me. They hate me, and you're the same rat as me. The hamster answer, I have better PR. Yes, PR is important. Yes. So we have for artists, the curators, and the art dealers, and the PR company, some agents. It's very, very important. You can try to do it by yourself, but to be an artist and to do few things together, it's never worked. Even in historical way, it's never worked.
So, darling, could you please tell me, what is the difference and how does artwork justify the business those days? Would you call it old-fashioned or new modern way of showing your success?
Yes, of course, especially with the modern art. Older art work, it's in the business for many years, so you have the collectors, art lovers who will come to the different auctions like Christie or Sotheby's, and they will buy from different time of the art, modern or classical art. They wouldn't put in the public a lot of old pieces of work. It will be in the museums or galleries. But in the places like here, they do love to put modern artist work or photography work on a display. In this place, for example, it's extremely useful. We work together with the owner, or Matthew, owner here. He not only displayed my work that they bought it, but also a few pieces of my work for the approximate buyers who will buy the property through him, and then had an idea to do as interior design, to add my work as a pieces of interior design in the houses.
Amazing. I've asked Olga to continue the conversation in her workshop, allowing me to be at the presence of the painting. The studio is where the magic happens for every artist. Usually, artists don't like to be interrupted during the creation, but for me, as a friend, an exception was made.
Art always influenced people. It's a big theory of what keeps humans and the human society going. It's a few things that soul react on, and this is art, music, dance, and singing. 4 legs for the platform that can be always very stable. If we lose one of this leg, it will be a failure. So it will exist forever, ever, while our society lives. Regarding of the future of modern art, of course, it's changing from from Stone Age drawing on walls. It's come to the drawings of images of the Bibles, the religion images. And one of the first artists who started to draw battles, Uccello, he moved from the drawing of religious images to the different subjects, and it was a difficult but very interesting time. I respect the work of academical work and the old work of our genius painters like Da Vinci, and I hope that will come back this type of professional work of will come back, but right now I don't see that it's fashionable. Right now, modern art, visual art, animation, a lot of photography and different type of photo style with the prints and the techniques. It's very popular. A lot of installation, which has, for me, myself, I don't like a lot. I mixed installation of my art together with something, but not only something that as a piece of art. That's, but it's very popular now. And I think all visual through internet, through computer, it's most popular now. And that was interest young generation.
Well, the situation began to clear up. It might take years to study art, but we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, interviewing the high-class experts. One of them lives here. His name is Dougie Fields. He's a painter, an actor, and a legend of British postmodernism. To be his friends, considers as an honor from movie stars, rock musicians, various celebrities in various fields. His life, like his art, is full of colorful characters. It's always interesting when you see a particular piece of work, especially the ambitious one. Would you explain what are the criteria by how value this art, this particular piece of work?
So the value that is placed on a work of art is on different levels. There's the subjective level, how you respond to it yourself. Does it move you? Do you have an emotional response to it or intellectual response to it? Or does society place a value on it to do with the marketplace? And what society has in the marketplace already affects how you see a work of art. Recently there was a big scandal in America where a famous collector was found to have a forgery hanging in their collection that they paid millions of dollars for, and they bought it from a very significant New York gallery who was found to have been selling quite a few fakes. Whether they knew it or not, we don't know. It was eventually settled out of court, but 1 minute this painting hanging on someone's wall was seen as worth $20 million or even more, and the next minute it was seen as worth nothing. But it's the same actual painting, but just what they had was something that was fooling them into believing it was something else, but the something else was simple enough to make a copy of. And you can copy a work of art and it looks like the work of art, but the value doesn't necessarily copy across with it.
How would you explain the difference between masterpiece and anecdote, the fake art and something amazing?
Well, to see the difference, you need a really trained eye sometimes. Certainly, it's easy to be fooled, and technology nowadays can analyze and reveal when the paint was actually made, when the canvas was actually made. It can even trace where it was made. But that's very recent technology. Back in the 1980s, I had a friend who was working on a TV documentary about a famous Parisian forger actually he wasn't Parisian, he lived in Paris, he was Belgian, but he'd been exposed. And so now he was trying to make a career as an artist, as he'd originally intended. And we went to visit him for her to film him for this documentary, in a house surrounded full of works from Gauguin and Matisse. He was doing the Impressionists and the Post-Impressionists. That was his area of copying. And first glance, they looked great, but he'd fooled many people before. He had a career that was 10, 15 years long before he was caught. He had wanted to be an artist. Yeah. He got seduced into doing the forgeries. Someone said, "Can you copy my picture?" Sometimes people used to have a copy made and they would hang the original in a vault and then they would show the copy. The same as people do that with jewellery. They have copies of jewellery and they put the real in the vault and then they... So it was no different from that, except it's when you try and sell it as the real thing, that's where it becomes a criminal act, I guess. Putting a value on a work of art is a very tricky thing. If I'm selling something from my studio, it has one price. If it's sold through a dealer, it has another price. If it's sold on the secondary market, it has yet another price. And the artist has no control. Once it hits there, it can be inflated or it can not sell. It's a free-for-all. I sell according to an accountant. I never charge enough. I had someone analyze my productivity and the time I took to make a work of art. And he said, "You're undervaluing your work because you're never going to build stock unless you sell it at a price that it pays all your bills, pays for your time." I'd never thought about it like that. But I have to charge according also to what people can afford. Sometimes people fall in love with something. They can't afford to pay what I need to sell it for. Sometimes for other people it's a drop in the ocean, what you ask. And it's all relative to who has how much money when they're buying too. But once it hits the trading floor, which is what the art market is, it's just a commodity. And it depends on what other traders are trading in it, like stocks and shares. So you get super inflated prices for a few artists. It has really nothing to do with the art, it's to do with trading. They've hit that trading floor.
Who are your favorites? Is there any specific idol?
Oh gosh, I have a mind full of things I've looked at, and they all influence me. My early favourites are still my most significant because they made me become an artist, or they formed the basis for what my art's developed into. So it's got to be people like Léger, Mondrian, Arp, Miro, Picasso, Dali, 20th century greats really, maybe even mid to early 20th century, but then you add in Francis Bacon, one can keep on adding in people, and I love getting turned on by looking at things.
Dagi actively developing another form of art, the so-called digital art. The artist is sure of his computer art and a great future for the next generation to help the youth to express themselves in that way, and will be extremely popular.
I've already moved from the painting into the computer in a way I never expected. Once I'm doing things digitally, I'm now using software that makes music. I never thought I would do that, and I never thought I'd put that together with film, because it wasn't easy to do for one person. So now it's how technology evolves. We can't predict, and art will evolve with that. It'll be far more just in the air, like everything is on the cloud. Well, the art is already invaded the cloud, but where it goes from there, be interesting to see.
Of course, contemporary art is the art of youth. Declare itself out loud. Today, however, is problematic. After all, in addition to art, still in need of place, the gallery, and the cost of renting premises in London is very high and often can't be afforded by young artists. Then they come up with interesting ideas. For example, making an agreement with the club owners, with drinks and dancing they exhibit their artwork. They could be spotted by experienced producers and hunters of new talents.
This event is made by Artifacts organization. It is an organization for, it's sort of a platform for all the artists, for them, not all, but all the young artists. So for them to get the recognition, it is a really good organization in my way. For example, it really helped me because I'm actually selling works with them. It's really useful, and now I'm taking all my friends who are paint, and what we do is we combine all sorts of arts. It can be film, it can be DJs, music, and fine art, obviously, and we all combine it and take it to the place, and where people can enjoy drinks and our stuff that we created. People are coming and they see the work, because today it is so difficult to get into the galleries. They really love dead artists because they become unique. And what I love about this Artifacts organization is because they actually care about people, and they want to help them. It's a charity organization. Well, my work is it's called Madonna. At first, many people just say it looks like a nipple. Well, it has this some similarity with female breast. But what I think is important is also the name behind it. So it's not just like a nipple. It's about the connection between, if you look at all the classic paintings, there are Madonna feeding her baby with a breast. So the breast, for me, symbolizes the connection between mother and her child. It's the energy he gives to the baby to grow. And that's why I even made it out of butter, which contains milk. So what I think about modern art, yeah, you always have to explain it because it's not a Bible story like it used to be before. But I think that the story is actually important, like what artists try to imply. But obviously, the art itself should be, at first, it should have quality to it, and it should be beautiful. And then, like with the story, it all combines, and then it becomes absolutely beautiful and unique.
I've asked Stefan to show me the Shoreditch area. It is the most fashionable area of modern art in London. Now, here is so full of galleries, crazy shops and street art. Even the most famous underground artist Banksy couldn't leave his work here. Here is one of them.
Recently, there was an investigation on Banksy's name, real name, and now we're really close to his name because most of his works were made around this area, especially in Shoreditch, where you suppose that he used to live here or he had a wife here, presumably. And we're really, really close to find out who he is because there are only about 3 suspects left.
Shoreditch is so-called art district. Respectable art has left the Mayfair and avant-garde to move to Shoreditch, similar as in New York City, where modern art moved from West Broadway to Chelsea. For the same reason, the high cost of the rent is all traditional place, although it made the Shoreditch prices to crawl up. But what can be found today in the galleries of this trendy area?
Can you please tell us about the artist that is Pure Evil?
Pure Evil, he's a Welsh-born artist. He's quite known in the kind of like street art scene for, he's quite iconic for the famous people that he paints, i.e.
So he paints famous people, and he also works here and almost lives here.
Yeah. He's just usually in the gallery nearly every single day. It's just a chance he's not here today, but he makes all of the work in this gallery / studio.
And you're here to help him, to assist him.
Yeah. I don't make his work for him, but I help out with stuff like frame it.
Yeah, sure.
And
make him comfortable.
Yeah. I'm just there basically to help him out with anything he needs help with. So, Pure Evil's work is heavily influenced by Andy Warhol, as you can see.
Yeah.
And
pop.
Yeah. It's mainly he's just pop art, street art, and yeah.
But we can see he pushed it. Yeah. His work is, I'd say, how I kind of see Charlie, Pure Evil, is I kind of see him like a Andy Warhol using stencils, basically. If that was one way I had to explain to someone that didn't know much about him, it'd be Warhol stencils. But he's quite really good with choosing colours that work together really well. And so. Perfect.
What is contemporary art? What is the classic definition for this? This is an excellent question, and one of them isn't asked so often. Presumably, talking about contemporary art is another one of those art definitions are all supposed to know, because you wouldn't want to ask a stupid question of some artwork functions. Anyway, the answer is divinely simple. Contemporary just means art that has been and continues to be created during our lives. In other words, contemporary to us. Now, of course, if you are 96 years old and reading this, you can expect a certain amount of overlapping between contemporary and modern art in your lifetime. A good rule for thumbs up. Modern art from the around 1880 up until 1960s or 70s. Contemporary art from 1960s or 70s up until this very minute. Strictly speaking, the term contemporary art refers to art made and produced by artists living today. Today's artists work and respond in a global environment that is culturally diverse, technologically advancing and multi-phased. Contemporary art is often not easy to understand, not to mention how difficult it is to enjoy it, especially for unprepared viewers. But we still want to understand, don't we? Especially as London is a wonderful area to explore and provides a great opportunity for this. So, my dear friends, I think we have managed the situation with contemporary art. I've enjoyed it, didn't you? Especially the people, the artists, were their own planet. They deserve a closer look. I'm not gonna say goodbye. There's many times to go ahead to meet more interesting people. So it's a see you later.